Deep inside an endless desert, past the lands where no one can ever enter, lies a mirage that hides a phantom castle. The phantom castle is the home of the evil sorcerer called Khazar. Khazar normally sends his terrifying dragon out to steal unmarried beautiful princesses and take them to his palace. No single warrior has ever been able to find the castle until this very day and save the kidnapped princesses. Just as the king ended the story for his daughter, Princess Mina, she boldly tells her father that the dragon is going to regret it if it ever tries to take her too, making her father laugh out loud. A few years later, Princess Mina is all grown up. Even with her royal status, she still greets and pays her respects to every guard she sees. She has a very close friend named Ronan. They grew up together, and it's clear that they both like each other. We learned that suitors from all over the world have recently come to ask for her hand in marriage. But Mina tells Ronan that those suitors aren't really there for her. They're there for her father. Her father, the king, doesn't believe a woman can rule the kingdom. Instead, he wants to marry her off to the first man who fits his idea of a warrior. Ronan asks her what she really wants for herself. She replies that she wants to lead the kingdom and be with the man she loves. As Mina watches ducks in the river, Ronan suddenly kneels and asks for her hand in marriage. The surprise makes her fall into the river. Laughing, the princess happily agrees to marry him. Meanwhile, at a bar, some of the suitors who came to seek the princess's hand in marriage are relaxing. One of them is called Rog Dai, a strong and skilled man, especially with his axe. The second suitor is a rich Arab king named Kabir. He wants to marry the princess because his kingdom ranks in the top 10, and with the marriage, it would easily rise to the top 3. The third is a fat Chinese prince named Fa Chan, a typical mama's boy who does anything his mother tells him. The suitors see Mina with Ronan and go to confront them. Rogdai tells the princess he will soon be her husband and demands that she stop hanging out with Ronan. But the princess clearly states that she's not interested in marrying any of them. Ronan supports her, saying Rogdai has no right to tell her what to do. Rogdai, furious, confronts Ronan, saying the princess's father will choose her destiny and warns him to watch his mouth since he's never even held a sword. Ronan calmly replies, the strongest muscle in the body is the brain, if you know how to flex it. Enraged, Rogdai tries to strike him, but the princess stops him and threatens to report him to her father, forcing the suitors to walk away. Princess Mina then rides straight into the palace to see her father. The king tells her about the suitors' mothers who have just met him to request her hand in marriage. Mina is furious. She says her opinion should matter more than some outdated custom. She pleads with her father to let her marry Ronan. The king admits that Ronan is a good and clever young man, but he is no warrior. If trouble comes, he fears Ronan won't be able to protect her or the kingdom. But Mina believes that a clever ruler is better than a strong one. Out of love for her daughter, the king finally agrees and gives them his blessing. Mina hugs him joyfully. Later that evening, the whole village is gathered along with the suitors as the king is about to announce the princess's future husband. Just as Princess Mina is getting ready, a dragon suddenly appears and kidnaps her. Ronan tries his best to stop a dragon, but he's thrown to the ground like a rag doll. The king realizes it's Khazar, the sorcerer who is behind the kidnapping. He announces to the crowd that whoever rescues Mina from Khazar will win her hand in marriage and a place in his kingdom. All the suitors volunteer to go after her. Ronan, heartbroken, asks the king about their engagement. But the king retracts his blessing, saying he made a mistake. Mina needs a hero, not a thinker. After reflecting, Ronan decides to join the rescue mission. He opens his box, dons his armor, and takes up his bow. By studying the map, he determines that the dragon flew east and sets off in that direction. As Ronan passes through the impassable forest, Rogue Dice secretly follows him, intending to kill him and find the princess himself. Meanwhile, Princess Mina awakens in Khazar's castle, located atop a dangerously high mountain. She explores the strange, eerie place and finds golden statues of girls everywhere. The dragon that kidnapped her transforms into an old woman and greets her. Only a few princesses have ever set foot inside this castle, and none of them ever came back. But the old woman tells Mina that the castle is not one of horror, but of fun. Khazar is simply bored and is looking for a friend, and Princess Mina is the special young lady he has chosen. The dragon tells her to keep Khazar interested and engaged, and her life in the castle will be paradise. But if she disappoints him, she will end up like the other princesses, turned into golden statues. Inside the castle, we see monstrous servants brushing Khazar's long beard. When other servants bring him clothes, he orders them to throw them away. He's already warned them. He demands a completely new wardrobe to look stylish for his latest girlfriend. Naina, the dragon shapeshifter, appears before Khazar and informs her that she has brought Princess Mina as ordered. Khazar is impressed and rewards her by finally revealing where the wizard Finn is hiding. On the other side of the world, during his journey, Ronan sees a gigantic snake trying to swallow a family of bears. He tries to help, but doesn't even know how to string an arrow. His attacks have no impact. He quickly thinks, what are snakes afraid of? A snake charmer comes to mind. Using a special plant, he quickly crafts a flute and plays a tune to charm the snake into the river, which sweeps it away. To Ronan's amazement, the bears can talk. One of them thanks him for saving his family and pledges to serve him from that day forward. Ronan tells the bear about his mission to find Khazar and rescue Mina. The bear, shocked, reveals that the snake works for Khazar, who often sends it to hunt rare animals to turn their skins into luxurious fabrics for his clothing. Although he doesn't know how to find Khazar, the bear offers to take Ronan to a kind wizard named Finn, who lives in the forest and might be able to help. The bear carries Ronan to the wizard Finn, who agrees to help him, admitting that all of this is partly his fault. The dragon, Nahina, used to be someone Finn deeply loved. Years ago, he studied magic for 2 years just to become worthy of her. But every time he imagined approaching her, he feared rejection. Not wanting to risk hearing no, he cast a spell to guarantee she would fall in love with him at first sight. But the spell was too powerful. Naina became obsessed, driven mad by unnatural love. Before Finn could reverse it, Khazar told Naina the truth about what Finn had done. In her fury, Naina's love spell turned into dark hatred. Ever since then, she has taken revenge, not only on Finn, but on everyone else who dares to be happily in love. Ronan wishes to know what might be happening to Mina right now, and Finn uses his magic to show him. In the river, he sees Khazar trying to impress Mina with golden foods. As Khazar tries to kiss Mina, she hits his head with a tray pan. Ronan asks where Khazar's castle is located and how he can get there. Finn tells him that no mortal man stands a chance against a sorcerer like Khazar. He suggests Ronan should stay with him as his apprentice, and he will teach him all the magic he knows. Then maybe he might be able to defeat Khazar, but that would take 20 years to achieve. Ronan demands a faster way. Finn agrees there is one, but it's a suicide mission. He tells him to go as fast and far as he can to the east until he reaches the Sandy Mountains, but the entrance is guarded by a giant head. If he can get past the giant head, he will be able to gain entry to Khazar's kingdom. Without wasting much time, Ronan begins his journey. After a while, Naina locates Finn and captures him. Ronan tries to rescue him, but Rogi attacks him with his axe. Rogi chases after him until they reach a dead end. Ronan has no choice but to fight Rogi to defend himself. Bjorn the bear tries to defend Ronan, but he is taken down easily. Ronan is able to exchange blows with Rogi, who almost ends up falling from the cliff, but Ronan saves him. While dragging him up, Rogi tries to use the opportunity to kill him, but ends up falling off the mountain. Naina takes Finn to Kesser's castle and begs Kesser to lock him up in one of his cells. Kesser asks Naina why the girl he brought behaves like a barbarian, but she replies, "That's how modern princesses behave." In the room where Princess Mina is locked up, she ties some clothing together so she can use it as a rope to escape the castle through the window. She sees Kesser's hat on the floor, and as she wears it, she realizes it's an invisibility hat. She decides to use it to her advantage. When Kesser's guards enter her room with a cage to try and bring her to Kesser, she uses the invisibility to deceive them and locks them inside the cage. Kesser orders all his men to look for her, or they will all pay with their lives. Mina ties Kesser's long beard to a pillar and reveals herself to him, threatening him to let her go along with the other princesses he captured. Kesser tries to catch her, but she wears the invisibility hat again, and his beard, tied to the pillar, makes him fall off his castle. Mina also uses the invisibility to remove the green ring from Nahina's finger, which she can use to free all the princesses. She uses the ring to break the spell on the princesses, making them normal again, and leads them to the window where they can escape. Just after that, Nahina shows up and stops Mina from escaping. Ronan sees Fachan in the forest being hunted by a creature and rescues him. He asks Fachan to go home since he is scared of the journey, but Fachan prefers to face the dangerous journey rather than go back home to his mom empty-handed. He is going in search of the princess because his mommy told him to, and he doesn't want to anger her by returning without her. After a long journey, they finally reach the desert that leads to Kesser's kingdom, but the entrance to the desert is blocked by a sleeping giant head. Ronan tries to make the giant get out of their way so they can pass, but this pisses the giant off. Ronan sees thousands of soldiers who have died from facing the giant. Just as they were about to give up, Ronan sees shells on the floor and realizes that this sand isn't a desert but a riverbed. There used to be water here. So Ronan believes if they bring the water back, they might appease the giant head and be allowed to pass. Ronan goes to a dam that is blocking the river from flowing and has turned the valley into lifeless dust. Ronan, Fachan, and Bjorn the bear build a catapult which they use to break the dam, making the river flow again. Just as the water touches the giant head, he comes alive with water hands and legs. The giant tells Ronan that he saved him because water is his home. His malicious brother Kesser imprisoned him here and cut off the water supply, knowing his powers come from it. In gratitude for saving him, the giant rewards Ronan with a magic sword. It holds great power and will help him defeat Kesser. Kesser has long beards and they contain his magic powers. If Ronan uses the sword to chop off his beards, he will defeat Kesser and save his fiancée. As a sign of gratitude, the giant uses his magic to transport Ronan and his crew to Kesser's palace. Mina, on the other hand, is still trying to escape the castle. She sees Finn in a cell who begs her to bring her some water. After doing so, Finn informs her that her lover Ronan is on his way to find her. But Mina becomes more concerned for Ronan because he has never used a sword. She sees Ronan and rushes to hug him. But it turns out to be Kesser in disguise. He catches Mina, and just as he orders his men to put her in a cage, the real Ronan shows up. An epic battle begins as Fachan and the bear show up to help Ronan fight the guards. Ronan fights with Keser. Keser carries Ronan really high into the sky, but gets exhausted. He tells Ronan that he has won and takes him back to the castle so he can take Mina and go. Ronan and the princess finally reunite, but Keser uses the distraction to his advantage. Nahina shows up and uses her ring to put Mina to sleep. Keser tries to stab Ronan, but he dodges it and uses the sword to cut Keser's beard, turning him into a golden statue. But things are not okay because Mina has been enchanted to sleep forever. Ronan begs Finn to break the spell, but he tells him he can't. This is Nahina's doing, and he's powerless here. Finn sees the invisibility hat on the floor and tells Ronan there is hope. He goes to find Nahina and tells Ronan to take her home and she will be awake by then. While they camp for the night, Nahina shows up and makes them all fall asleep. She uses her enchantment magic on Fachan and tells him to take Ronan's solid and stab him in the chest. Fachan is able to resist her powers, but then Rogi comes out of nowhere and stabs the sleeping Ronan and then carries the princess back to the kingdom. He takes Mina to her father and informs him that Mina is enchanted, but the joy of wedding with her can possibly break the spell. The king decides to let Rogi marry his daughter. On the other hand, Nahina meets with the stabbed Ronan and smiles, saying love has destroyed him. But that person is actually not Ronan. It's Finn. He used the invisibility hat to hide Ronan. Finn begs Nahina for forgiveness and tells her that after he dies, the spell on her will be broken. Nahina's hatred for Finn suddenly goes away, and she decides to help him by giving Ronan the ring to reverse the enchanted spell on Mina. Just as the king is about to pass the kingdom to Rogi for bringing back the princess, Fachan shows up and exposes everything. It was actually Ronan who saved the princess, but Rogi stabbed him in his sleep. Just as the king is confused and doesn't know who to believe, Ronan suddenly shows up and reveals the truth. He brings out the ring and breaks the enchanted spell on Mina. Mina knocks out Rogi from behind, and they all reunite with each other as the whole kingdom celebrates. The king decides to give his blessing to Ronan and Mina, while Rogi is arrested and taken to prison. Some guests show up at the palace. They are the princesses Mina saved. And that was how the movie ended.